Hello there. I'm your host, Steve Barnes. Welcome to our coverage of 100 Years of Solitude. We're doing episode 2 today, The Queen of Madagascar. I'm your host from Sweet Child of Time, but we have another host on deck here, and she's your host from one of my stories. So you're probably listening to that. So let me introduce you to her so she can be part of this whole scene. And it's Lindsay Dunn. Hola and buendias, Lindsay.
Ahoy, Buendia. And maybe we should say she's waiting in port. We had a port this week. We had a functional, semi-functional port.
The one and only. Like, it happened so fast and it never happened again. So I already forgot about it. But yeah, we're getting some entertaining moments in this episode 2. Last time we talked, Lindsay, I asked you how you were feeling about 100 Years of Solitude. And to quote you, you said, eh. That's exactly what you said.
Was that my soundbite for the week?
Yes. So for this week, yeah, after seeing episode 2, are you feeling the same, or is it getting a little better for you?
Yeah, I feel like we're in a cycle, Steve, like a cycle that's repeating from season 1, because I remember the same thing happening. Episode 2 was better than episode 1. So yes, this week was better. There was some action, some suspense. We got a little more into some of these characters and what's going on with them. So I thought it was definitely a more exciting episode. Plus, there's a new character, kind of a connection into a different part of the world that expanded our universe. So yeah, I was digging it this episode a little more.
Oh, good. That's cool. I'm still digging this show as well. Of course, there was some things in this episode that came up that I did not like, but that's par for the course with 100 Years of Solitude. You're always going to find like some distasteful or some questionable subject material hidden in there, and I'll discuss it when we get to it. What you said is true. I'm also watching, I'm really only watching 3 shows right now. Of course, Little House on the Prairie, one for my other podcast, Running Down the Hill. I'm watching 100 Years of Solitude, episode 2, and I'm watching Silo. And we just finished watching episode 2 of Silo, of the most current season, which is season 3. And when we watched episode 1, it was kind of boring and I wasn't really that into it. And then episode 2, a lot more exciting things happen. So I don't know. It just goes to show that like episode 2, if you kind of like a show for episode 1, you're like, I think I'm on board. It's probably going to grab you like within the first couple of episodes after that. And this one did it for Lindsay. Congrats.
Congratulations. I don't know if I should be congratulated for that, but
no, not you, the show. Congratulations. Oh, okay. 100 Years of Solitude. You did it.
You did it. Yeah.
But yeah, this show definitely gives you, I think it's a very vibrant show, but I think it's also, it gives you something to talk about. You know, that Bonnie Raitt song. This show definitely gives you weird things to talk about. Brings up subject matters we probably definitely would not be discussing unless we were discussing 100 Years of Solitude. Like last season, we were discussing things like incest, I believe. And there were some other hot button issues last season that we had to go into. And same things happen in here, this very episode.
Huh.
Sexual trickery happening.
Okay, yeah. Sexual trickery.
And it's like one of those things that like almost makes me like not want to enjoy the show because it's like so blaringly like disturbing, but it's framed in such a way that it's almost like, I don't know. We'll get to it when we get to it, I suppose.
We will get to it when we get to it. Yeah, I'm already thinking in my head. I've figured out. I know you're going to ask me my least favorite scene. I was like, oh, I just realized what it was, because you sort of said something that made me remember what it was. So that's a good. You gave it to me, Steve. You helped me remember what I didn't like. I was trying to block it out, I guess.
Yeah, anybody listening to this has already watched this episode, The Queen of Madagascar, and knows I'm talking about the 2 twin brothers and how one of them fools Petra into like romantic tidings against, I wouldn't say it's against her will, but he tricked her. So I always ask Lindsay. We're always going to discuss our favorite and least favorite scenes of the episode, and I think that one's going to be. I think that's everybody's least favorite scene of this episode. And if it's not, then I'd like to hear from you. Like, what's a worse scene than that? Not that it was badly done, but just subject matter and not fun to watch. But yeah, there's fun scenes. There's a couple of very fun scenes. I almost couldn't decide what was my favorite scene because there's three of them that were. I should probably rank them when we get to them, perhaps. Keep that in mind, Lindsay. And I want to know, too, who do you have your eye on? What character do you have your eye on in this, not necessarily this series, but this episode and this season so far?
Well, I guess if it's anybody, it's Remedios the beauty, just because
Mm,
they haven't, you know, last week she was just strutting around naked, and this week got a little more depth to her character. They
hmm.
add a slightly different perspective, and she still has an innocence about her.
Very much.
But I feel like there's something more interesting coming with her. And, I always I'm always intrigued by the quiet ones, and she's sort of the quietest of these three siblings.
And yeah, she has the seal of approval of the guy that I have my eye on. If you want to ask me who I have my eye on, it's our main guy, played by Claudio Cantagno, Aureliano. I don't love him. I don't love his character, but I love watching this guy work, and I love the scenes that he's in. And he gives Remedios the seal of approval a couple times, where he just congratulates her on her foresight and says something like she's a true Buendia or something along those lines.
Yeah, he talks about her brightness and her he disapproves. You can tell that he approves of what's going on with her for some reason. Maybe it's because she's named after his only true love,
Hmm.
but he sees something in her that he thinks is worth nurturing.
Yeah, and I believe they're like foreshadowing, like that more is going to happen with her. Yeah, I think it's cool that you picked her actually, because she's like what they say at the end. She's the queen of Macondo, and she's just happily inviting the Queen of Madagascar to share the spotlight with her. She
Hmm.
just has this like innocence and this joy about her that's like, yeah, she's not your normal Buendias.
Yeah,
But yeah, have you already done your written recap over there on oneofmystories.com?
I did do it. I finished it last night, just in the nick of time, saved by the bell.
And it's been
So
published and all that. So all the
it's been
listeners can.
published. Yeah, it's on oneofmystories.com.
I, I digress, Lindsay. There is something I wanted to ask you because
Okay.
I kind of stuttered there. I was going to ask you what exactly is going on this week because you had something that you wanted to promote at the very beginning, and me, like a fool, I forgot. So you do have something you want to promote this week, correct?
Oh, well, I was going to promote it at the end, but
No, 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 no. We promote things at the beginning here on one of my stories in Sweet Child of Time.
we do. Yes, if you're in Durham, North Carolina, or the Triangle area, you can come to Blacknall Presbyterian Church on this Friday, which is the 28th of August at 7 p.m., for a songwriting showcase and a fundraiser. That's what it's called. A fundraiser. Fund it's free admission, but all any donations will be given to homeless ministry partners in Durham. And it's original songs written by the songwriter collective at Blacknall. So that's it. Blacknall Presbyterian Church. It's on Perry Street in Durham near the Whole Foods. So look it up on your GPS if you'd
This is
like to
for the
attend.
This is for the North Carolinians. Yeah, you can go there and check it out in person. But for everybody else who's online, are these songs available on Spotify for us to listen to?
That's true. On Spotify, the group is called Blacknall Arts. That's black as in BLACK as in Steve's favorite color shirt to wear,
Yeah.
and Nall, NALL, Black Nall. Black Nall Arts is the name of the group, and the album is called Wake for the Dead.
Heck yeah. I like that title is pretty it's pretty metal too. So I mean I know it has connotation with Christianity, but I like to look at things from my angle. And
Yep.
speaking of which, let's look at this show from both of our angles here. We're going to recap 100 Years of Solitude, The Queen of Mascar. Lindsay, where do we start in this episode?
We start with Colonel Buendia waking up from trying to off himself.
Yeah, it's a way to put it.
we open from his POV. He is groggily waking up from bed and he sees Amaranta hovering over him, and there's somebody else hovering nearby, which is very interesting. It's himself. A
Yeah.
picture of himself at the foot of his own bed. You can see the blood clearly smeared on the shirt. We know he tried to kill himself, but there seems to be another one of himself standing by the foot of the
Mm-hmm.
bed. What did you make of that, Steve?
Yeah. At first, I wasn't sure what it was. So I had a little bit of disbelief and a little bit of double taking. But as for like symbolically, I almost feel like he did kill a part of himself, and that's who he is seeing, is like maybe like the old war hungry colonel that he once was, or you know, his maybe his passion for war and passion for being a colonel. That's the only thing I could think of. What did you think of that scene, or what did you think of that symbolism?
I guess I thought about how sometimes people have a near death experience and they're almost like, hey, it could go either way at this moment. You could either die or you could live. And maybe he sort of has a choice. But also at the Buendia house, we know that weird visions and things sometimes happen. So you remember when OG Jose Arcadio Buendia was near death and he was kind of walking through this path into his past.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know exactly what to make of it, but I took it as either he's near death, but that doesn't exactly fit because the doctor makes it clear like there was no chance that you were going to
Right.
die from this bullet wound. But I like your interpretation and your idea that maybe a part of him did die, and maybe that's the part of it he shot this part of his chest, but that's where he was keeping his anger and his rage, and maybe he's, or even actually maybe it's where he kept his, you know how at the end he was almost becoming weaker and
Yes.
becoming cold. We don't see that the rest of this episode. We don't see that part of him where he seems tired. He almost has gained his energy. So, yeah, but somehow he's gotten rid of a poisonous, toxic part of himself.
I think it's the war part because he's now focused more on his family and he's trying to like, you know, hustle these soldiers away from his house. He doesn't want them around him. So I kind of took it as like, you know, his military past is like that is dead now.
But he's sort of
Perhaps
becoming more, because he, I don't know, we might have to kind of curtail these thoughts a little bit. But, later in the episode, things happen
he
where
does get angry.
he gets angry, and
Yeah.
Herrineldo's like, yeah, this is the Colonel Aureliano we want. Your men to be proud of you.
That is
So,
true, but he does
yeah.
what? Yeah, I'm just going to keep pontificating, and I'll stop doing that. I'll go a different angle now because I have two other thoughts with this scene. You could look at this as he tried to commit suicide, or you could look at this as he tried to assassinate Colonel Buendia. So, like,
Mm,
is it a suicide or is it an assassination? I
mhm,
mean, we know it looks like a suicide, but it could be considered the other easily.
yeah. And what did he hope to accomplish by doing this? We know before he died, he was wanting to make sure that the people of Macondo and his soldiers and his men were
Hmm.
taken care of.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's sort of like, oh, all my people are taken care of now, so now I can end my life.
That's how I
But
took it. Yeah.
maybe he realized there's more for him to do. But just to make it clear, we sort of hinted at it, but the doctor kind of congratulates himself for saving Aureliano's life. He
Right.
misled him by when he put that red dot on the place Aureliano said, "Where's my heart?" He put the red dot in the one spot he knew he could shoot and not hit any vital organs. And Aureliano is angry about this and fears that now he will look like a fool.
This man's pride crap. Yeah, he's all full of that. Yeah, the doctors called this his masterpiece. And it almost made me think like seriously, like maybe this guy is like another alchemist thinker, kind of like a Buendia kind of guy. And he's always kind of like studied the human body. And he's like, where's the one place that you can shoot a man that won't kill him? And, you know, he found it and he tested it out on this guy and it worked. It's just a kind of what if kind of situation. But yeah, the doctor did have a lot of pride in the fact that that whole scheme worked.
Mm-hmm. So while this is going on, Aureliano Segunda and Petra Cote are dancing. And I thought Aureliano Segundo had some good dance moves here. I was into it.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
liked he's doing sort of the the South American dancing style. And Petra draws a name for a raffle. She is now raffling off an accordion.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see that it reads Marian Reyes.
Right.
But Petra lies and reports that the winner is Jose Arcadio Buendia. When she announces that name, of course, Aureliano doesn't respond because that's not his name.
Yeah.
And we learned that he still hasn't told Petra his true identity. And for the past 2 weeks, she's been sleeping with both twins.
That's right. And Aureliano is the only one that's aware of this. So yeah, yes, he has good dance moves. And yes, he is the better lay, according to Petra. Of course it's true. Yeah, he's the slimiest guy alive at this point of the story. Like, he's terrible. And he's taking advantage of his brother and is definitely taking advantage of Petra. And she is raffling away her accordion. They don't really go into this too much, but she's down to 2 rabbits. So like that's how she makes her living, is she breeds rabbits and then she raffles them off to like make the most money off of them. She's down to 2. So she can't raffle off any more rabbits because that's all she's got left.
Mm-hmm.
So she has to raffle off her items now. That's how like hard off she is. So she's not a rich lady at this point.
Yeah, I wasn't aware she had this accordion to begin with, but maybe we're not supposed to. But I was like, yeah, that's the last thing. You never want to raffle off your musical instrument because if you have an instrument, you love it.
That's right. Like Paul Ingalls wouldn't raffle off his violin. You know, he almost had to do that at one point. He did not.
Yeah, in the new little house, they say 2 different times they're going to sell the fiddle so they can have money, but nobody does it. It doesn't happen.
And she doesn't have to do her accordion thing because she lied and she gave it to her boyfriend instead. Sweet Child of Time is brought to you by Zencastr. Zencastr helps us make Sweet Child of Time. When I schedule an episode, I send the link out to my co-hosts and whoever the guest may be. We all get in a room together, an online room, of course. We all record locally on our microphones, and when we're done, we all have individual files we can download for easy editing. You can either record video or audio. If you'd like to choose Zencastr, go to zencastr.com/pricing. Use the promo code Sweet Child of Time for 30% off any paid Zencastr plan. If you want to have the same easy experience I've had with podcasting, choose Zencastr. It's time to share your story.
Yep. So back in the workshop, the real Jose Arcadio Segundo is taken over by the spirit of his great-grandfather. Jose Arcadio feels inspired to talk to Ursula. He wants to appropriate some of her savings for an idea he has to bring Macondo into the future.
These guys.
Ursula has seen this look before and is not willing to indulge his fantasies. She's worried what it could lead to. She indulged her husband, and she feels that helped to lead to his insanity. So I think she feels that if she curtails these mad ideas,
Yep.
these wild, imaginative ideas that she can somehow curtail the past from repeating itself.
I know. And who can blame her? She's been through this all before, and now she has this other guy who has the exact same name and probably looks exactly the same to her as as her husband. And I cannot blame her for this. I think that the family is like famously like a liberal family, but
Mm-hmm.
she's definitely not a progressive because like he's asking her to like, oh, I want to do all these things. And she's like, everything's fine the way it is. No, 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 no. Don't do anything new.
Yeah, I think their family is somewhat progressive, but Ursula's always been the conservative one. Remember, she was like this
That's
most
true.
sexually repressed one, and also she's the one
Oh,
that
right.
is
Okay.
always having. She's sort of the balance to Jose Arcadio's wild side.
I misspeak then. Yeah. I'm just thinking because Aureliano was like the part of the liberal army. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Part of their whole dichotomy.
So let's see next. But also, it's her. Okay, I'll say this though. Also, that money is Ursula's savings, and just because you have a wild idea doesn't mean that Mama should be giving you her money.
Yeah, and he's trying to pay her this thing that is going to benefit everybody in
Yeah,
Macondo, and she sees through that. She knows it's all about
yeah.
his love of discovery, basically.
Right. The twins meet in the street. They decide to get a drink. Yes, Aureliano Segundo is glad to see his brother, but as they navigate town, it's also clear he's eager to keep him away from none other than Petra Cote because he still hasn't told, he hasn't told her or his brother, right, that they are having this fling. Jose Arcadio is turned on, as we know, to this idea of using the river to navigate in and out of
Hmm.
Macondo. This is what his great grandfather wanted to do. He sort of wants to bring that vision to pass. And Aureliano tells his brother he will support his ideas no matter what.
That's right. It, it's funny you say that they ran into each other in the street, but what really happened was Aureliano was exiting Petra's house from
Hmm.
like a night of hanging out with her, and then Jose Arcadio was coming in to Petra's house, and they kind of just commandeered each other at just the right time, so it didn't look suspicious that
Right.
Aureliano was there. So very lucky timing.
Yeah, I think this was a one take, but they are walking in and out of places, and every time he sees Petra, he's like, let's go somewhere else.
That was driving me crazy. I would hate to be hanging out with this guy. I mean, I actually have hung out with people like that before that always want to do the opposite of what you're actually doing. And it's like, I thought we were doing this.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he starts playing a game of pool and then he runs him off somewhere else immediately.
Hmm. I guess his brother knows this is his personality. Maybe this is how he always is. So it doesn't throw him at all.
Yeah. And these guys have each other's backs no matter what. I mean,
They do. It's sweet. It's kind of sweet, but even though we're like, Jose Arcadio, you're way too forgiving. You're way too nice, bud.
that's right. I mean, they both kind of have their flaws, but like, this is like a personal thing. This is like
Hmm.
personal. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
get into it.
Okay, so after we're going to come back to these two, but
Oh, okay.
at this
Okay. Gotcha.
point, after his long recovery, Colonel Aureliano manages to stumble out of bed. The crowds below in the street are cheering him on as soon as he opens the window.
Hmm.
What is causing this adulation? Is it the armistice? Did you have thoughts about why the people were in the street
Oh,
cheering?
I think because they think that he survived this attempt on his life and that he's like, it's a miracle that he survived being shot in the heart.
Well, right, he did survive, but I thought up until this point, weren't people sort of hating him because there were people that were like, "Oh, you're the colonel's son. We're gonna kill you."
Yeah. And I think this move turned them around. I
Yeah.
think like that he's in the process of turning everybody around. And, he goes even a step further and a little bit later in this episode, but he went to sign the agreement to make sure that his men will be well paid. and then he shot himself. So like they're like, wow, well he did this for us.
Mhm.
So I think that there's like I think that whole scenario has changed everybody's mind about him.
Yeah. Okay. I was taking it like maybe they were happy that he signed the peace treaty and that he wasn't all war hungry anymore, which is essentially what you're saying. That he signed the peace treaty, he was looking out for them to make sure that the war came to an end.
And I do think he's not war hungry anymore. Like the ghost thingy. I don't know if that's a solid theory of mine or not, but the fact that he sees himself there, I still kind of think that like he's done with actually fighting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know after this episode. I'm not sure about that. But we're going to keep going here. So Aureliano steps outside of his room and finds soldiers from the conservative side taking orders from Ursula. Aureliano is angry to see all of these conservative soldiers in his house.
Sure.
Apparently, the president has sent a contingent of men to protect, quote unquote, Aureliano. And Ursula is happy to get the help. As soon as they show up, she's ready with all of her projects, all of her laundry. She's excited for this help. And Aureliano tries to send them away. Ursula pushes back at his insolence. It's her house.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
she commands this soldier known as Martinez to get the laundry as she requested. I'm going to stop there.
Yeah, I love the fact that Ursula is putting them to work immediately. It's like if the police came to your house to keep an eye on you. You're like, hey, while you're here, can you go ahead and cut the grass and get some of my laundry done? It's beautiful. I just thought that was so cool. That's what they were doing, is like work around the household, and she was ordering them around. She is the conservative leader.
I guess like this scene and another one a little bit later was, to me, it was kind of showing that he's still like anti-conservative. And I know you can be that way and not be hungry for war, but I think for him it's just too fresh. He's just gotten off of this, and these guys are not just, and he knows the president doesn't really want to protect him. So he's probably wondering what's the real story here.
Yeah, no argument here. It's clear he's not loving conservatives still, based on not just things he says later on, but even the way he like says the word conservative like it's a slur. So yeah, you're right about that.
Martinez, in his obedience to get the laundry, witnesses Remedios the Beauty taking a bird bath in the courtyard, and he's not about to turn away. This has given the Aureliano the distraction he needs to find a rifle and send everybody on their merry way. Ursula be hanged.
Yeah, it is a good excuse, I suppose. This isn't the first, but this is just another example of her just being completely clueless to the fact that men find her attractive, and that, her nakedness is like attractive as well. She just has no idea whatsoever. And so I guess that she is supposed to be like completely innocent, right? Like I don't see any like malice or any kind of sexuality or anything from her. I mean, maybe a little later on she's questioning Amaranta a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I wondered about that scene, but for this one, I didn't see it as like her trying to be seductive.
not at all.
She's just like, "Excuse me, you're putting the sheets in the dirt, and Mama Ursula is going to be really angry."
Right. She's showing him how to fold the sheets and not even paying attention to her nakedness. I don't know. And I remember in the last episode, there was like 10 guys staring at her in church, and she just had no idea whatsoever, just because she was sweating. She's like, oh, it's hot in here.
Jose Arcadio Segundo takes a work party down to the water to try and build a throughway and port for boats. They set to work moving rocks out of the stream, but they don't get far. Meanwhile, Aureliano Segundo perfects the art of laziness and indulges in afternoons of hedonism with Petra Cote. This is like a split, right, where we're seeing their divergent personalities. One guy is hard at work and
Right.
he's trying to be, industrious and make some things happen, and then the other one's just kind of lazing about,
Yeah.
enjoying life.
Growing a mustache too, so we can easily tell these guys apart. So it's like
Mm.
Aureliano mustache. So now you know that. That's that guy. It seemed to me like Jose Arcadio was having a lot of fun too, like doing his river project with his pals, and they were just jumping in the water and shoving rocks around. And it seems like they don't really have much of a plan at all. They're just kind of splashing around in the water, right? Like I didn't see like any like drawings or like any calculations taken or measurements or tools. They just went to it, right?
I think he had a plan. He didn't have enough help to
Yet,
make it happen.
yet,
Yeah.
yet.
So all is not bliss, however. Next thing you know, Aureliano Segundo discovers he's quote unquote sick. To be more exact, he's got an itchy crotch.
Get the crabs.
2 days later, Jose Arcadio Segundo has come down with the same ailment. Again, quote unquote. He also reports that Petra Cote has ended their affair. Aureliano Segundo finally reveals that Petro is somewhat innocent and that he has been fooling her and impersonating his brother. Amazingly, Jose Arcadio Segundo takes this fairly well, all considering. He calls his brother a scoundrel, or I can't remember
Yeah.
what the name was, but he doesn't get mad at him or seem to hold a grudge about it.
Yeah. Guess what? Least favorite scene alert right here. I hate the way that he says, I tricked you guys. Ha ha. And like they're just okay with it. And yeah, Jose Arcadio is just kind of like, oh, you snake in the grass.
Boys will be boys.
I'll always love you, guy. I love you for it. And I don't know. It's like Aureliano is so bad here. Like, not only is he sleeping around with Petra, sneakily sleeping around with Petra. Petra doesn't even know this, but he's like gave all three of them crabs and just to rub it in their face. What a terrible way to find out. So yeah.
I thought it was, I guess, yeah, I get the Jose Arcadio is more invested in his like great grandfather's secrets than his relationship with Petra. And I wonder what happened with him. He was all hanging out at the church so much. I guess that's sort of ended.
Yeah, he got obsessed with the books instead. He
Hmm.
found like these plans for whatever these plans for jumping in the river and shoving rocks around. And that's that took him away from the church somehow. And from Petra. He hasn't been paying attention to her either.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty despicable too. He's caused this ailment. You know, I remember a situation where was dating a guy, and I had sort of like maybe somewhat lost interest in him, but I hadn't fully decided if I was kind of on the fence about it, is what I'm trying to
Okay.
say. And
Sure.
then I went on vacation, and when I came back, I learned not from either one of them, but the guy I had been dating and my roommate had hooked up,
Yikes.
and I felt very betrayed.
Yes.
So for Jose Arcadio, I guess blood's thicker than water. I don't know. He's just like, this is my brother. He's a mess. He's a scoundrel, but what am I going to do? He's my twin. They're very close, obviously.
I mean, I know of twins that don't talk to each other.
And they, yeah, don't talk to each other? Wow.
Sure, yeah, it happens in families all the time where like family members like do something that betrays the other and then they don't talk to each other again.
But
Or they
I
just
don't think I've heard about that with twins, though.
well, you've probably heard me and Marshland Monster talk about Howard Kramer, Dragon Boy Suede. He's a twin. He has a twin sister, and he and his sister have completely different lives and just he doesn't really talk to her a whole lot. And he often talks about how weird it is that they're twins, but they just don't have a real like relationship. They have as strong of a relationship as he has like with any of his other siblings, which is not that strong either.
Mm.
I think this is more to the credit of the Buendias. I think they're trying to tell us that this family is like so strong that they can get past this.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, I don't know if I could get past this. Like, I mean, like if somebody in my family did something like this, I'm pretty sure that I would be upset about it and wouldn't be able to move past it,
Mm-hmm.
no matter
I
who
mean,
it was.
yeah, we know when they were little, they liked to trick people into.
Oh, that's right. They're like little
They're
tricksters.
little tricksters.
And this is just another example of that. But Petra doesn't even care. When she finds out and like Aureliano comes to her, am I okay to talk about this? Are we at that scene?
No.
Okay. No, no, no.
We're not at that scene yet. I'm not. It's not a no, no, no. But like, we're not at that scene yet. So you might want to hold on.
I will hold on to that
Yeah.
thought then, y'all.
Actually, no. I'm sorry. It's the next scene. Sorry. They go to tell Petra the truth. She does not take it so well. That's all I wrote about that. So what would you like to say?
But she didn't seem to be that upset about it either. She was like, which one of you guys was bad at sex?
Okay, that's not initially true. At first, she is mad and she tells them to go
Yes,
away. And she
that's
shuts the
right.
door in their face. It's not
Yes.
till later that she opens up because he's sadly playing the accordion outside of
Okay,
the house.
different scene, Steve. Cool your jets, buddy. Okay.
All right, so back at home, Amaranta is sewing on a machine. This is the only scene we
Mm.
really see Amaranta in
Hmm.
this episode. Remedios the beauty questions why she never got married. She teases her aunt a little about being a virgin. Amaranta kicks her out of the sewing room, and Rebecca takes an opportunity to flirt with Martinez. And to me, she looked more like Rebecca. She reminded me a lot of Rebecca in this scene, which is the only scene where I feel like Remedios wasn't completely innocent. Because why is she, first of all, why are you picking on your aunt?
Right.
Why are you annoying her? She's like she's using that pedal on the sewing machine very emphatically now.
Oh yeah, she's pissed. She doesn't like this line of questioning.
If it wasn't for another scene, which has to be my worst scene, this would be a good contender because I didn't like this that she was, kind of giving her aunt a hard time about this, something that's.
I'm I'm trying to like I'm trying to pinpoint this because still trying to get hung up on I'm still on the Remedios is an innocent kind of thing. Was she maybe innocently asking Amaranta this because she herself is a virgin too, but she is starting to notice that guys are interested in her, such as like the clothesline guy, and maybe this is just an innocent line of questioning that just touched Amaranta way too hard.
I wonder if the acting coach didn't do their job fully on this scene because the way it's played out, that's why she reminded me of Rebecca. She's looks like she's kind of side eyeing her aunt and like, oh, I know this is gonna get her goat, which
Oh,
seemed
that is
very out of
true.
character for
Yeah.
Remedios to be that way. So I don't know if they filmed this scene differently, but it seemed like to me a little devious, and she seemed a little devious towards Martinez as well. Like they even play that kind of percussive music. It's supposed to be it's the same kind of music they played when Rebecca went and seduced Jose Arcadio too, when he's in his hammock and she goes in and she basically seduces him and he's not upset about it, he's ready to enjoy the moment as well, but it plays that music and she brings Martinez. I'll go ahead and talk about a scene. She takes Martinez into this closet because he has been asked to bring some salt to Ursula. And Martinez tells her he thinks his heart might explode, but she listens to it and assures him that he's fine. And right then and there, he dies from a scorpion bite.
Right. Just so happens to be right there. So a lot of things here. Like I think you've kind of convinced me. Like on the face of the scene, she seems innocent asking about that, but you're right. The way she was cutting eyes at Amaranta, the tone of the scene, the music. Yeah, she was getting her goat there. I don't think she was she led the guy into the cupboard. And again, she was acting kind of innocent, but because of the tone of the scene and because of how sweaty they were, there could have been a little bit of malice in there too, where like she maybe thought they were going to make out or something. But he says his heart is racing, and she like, oh, well, let me check it for you. Like just
Hmm.
like a little kid might do something like that. So that was an innocent move, but I think it was framed around a lot of, sexuality, I suppose.
Yeah.
The scorpion being there, of course, is like a big symbol. Like maybe we should watch out for her too. Because yeah, we were talking at the very, very top of this podcast about how you liked her and how innocent. And I was like, oh, how cool she is. But yeah, she's got the scorpion bite that's underneath of all that.
Hmm. I don't know. And it might not even be a bite she means to have or realizes she has. But I think, they say that sometimes people start to get aware of their sexuality. This Martinez recently, he there was a scene with the laundry, and maybe, I feel like in general Ursula keeps her at home. Maybe the only time she brings her out in public is church because of the whole
Yes.
nudity
Yeah.
nudity thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So there probably aren't she probably doesn't interact with any men except for her relatives. And so Martinez has come in the house, and she is suddenly aware that, oh, I'm attractive. So maybe that's why she's talking to Amaranta about this, thinking about, maybe she's like sort of like puberty, when people start thinking about sex, or you realize I have some kind of power here over this guy. But it's not she's not like fully being devious or trying to seduce him. She's just kind of curious about the impact she's having on people.
Yeah, that's right on. And poor her. She didn't know why this guy drops dead, but he does. So that puts an end to that little escapade, I suppose.
Yeah. And then that's when Aureliano congratulates her for killing her first conservative
That's right.
and
The
names
seal of
her the
approval.
brightest of the Buendias.
There you go. That's what I was trying to say earlier. So yeah, she's set up to be the next leader.
So then Aureliano is back in the workshop making his gold fish. Hernaldo tells him that the president has not respected his promise to treat Aureliano's soldiers as veterans of war. In addition, the president plans to visit Macondo in person to bestow an award upon Aureliano for his part in the peace treaty. It's a little bit like lemon juice on a paper cut, because this act and Aureliano showing up could make it look like Aureliano is complicit with the
Hmm.
president's bad faith treatment.
That's right. And this supports the theory that like he's back in the workshop making goldfish. He's not out there plotting his next battle. He's just trying to have some fun, get back to his roots.
Yeah, just hang out in the workshop. We liked that Aureliano.
That's right.
Anything else you want to say about this part here with the finding out about this award?
No, because the real meat of the scene comes when the award is handed over. So I don't really have much to say about this scene, other than the
Oh,
goldfish, and I was proud to see him back in his spot, like you said.
yeah, just work on stuff in the workshop. That's all. That's all we want you to
Help
do.
Jose Arcadio jump in the river
Oh
with him.
yeah, yes, that's true. Aureliano Segundo sadly plays his accordion outside
There we go.
Petricote's house. He begs her to forgive him, and she wonders which brother was the one that was bad at sex. They
Hmm.
make up, and I guess the itchy crotch is gone. I don't know. Hopefully, they
By this
discover
time, yeah.
they discover that Petra's two rabbits have become a colony through the power of procreation. Aureliano wonders if this successful breeding could work with cows, which might pull in more money. The barn becomes a flutter with cows, roosters, pigs, and chickens, all with spring fever. Okay, this was my least favorite scene right here, Steve. I did not need to see these animals with what I hope are fake penises that the camera is, because you mentioned that AI is not being used in the show, so these poor
Right.
animals had to endure this fake mating ritual. I mean, I think it's fake because like the cows have like these pink penises that they're so I think it was faked with special effects. I'm hoping. So I don't know. I just thought this was gross and uncomfortable.
Well, well, at least we don't have to worry about like anybody being inappropriate with any farm animals because they're doing it to themselves. So like it's just like Aureliano and Petra. Her name is so similar to Pilar. I think she's like our
And
new Pilar.
Pietro.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Aureliano Segundo and Petricote. Yeah.
So the two of them, like their passion, their sex, like encourages all the other animals to also have sex and to also reproduce.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like mass. And it's funny you say this is like your least favorite scene because I told you there was like 3 scenes that I liked a lot, and this is not my favorite scene, but this was one of the contenders. This made me laugh. Like I was laughing at this scene every time I saw it, and it's not like I like it, but it was definitely funny. Being like a dad. This definitely watching farm animals do their thing. It was funny. I hate to say it.
When I was watching it the first time, I was on the couch, the TV's like a ways away. It was kind of funny then. But when I was sitting like watching it the second time here at my desk, everything was up close. I could see like I was just like, how did they film this scene? What did they do to these animals to make it happen? It just I don't know. I
I
know these days it's PETA,
right.
I don't know. Is PETA functioning in Colombia? I'm not sure. There are supposed to be rules on what you can and can't do with animals and like how you can't mistreat them. But you remember how you and James you were so upset about the treatment of the raccoon. I mean, like yes, they put that guy through a little more, but I was like, what did they do to these animals to film this scene?
That's true. You mentioned like some genitalia. I did not notice any of that. I watched this twice in English and once in Spanish. And that never caught my eye. I was just laughing at the overall image of, cows mounting one another. But I wasn't like, I never noticed the up closeness. I guess because I was always watching on my TV while I was over there. So I never had the
Well,
up close
consider
experience.
yourself fortunate then. made me regret that I watch things, up close for my podcasting. I was
Oh,
like,
but
I really.
here's where I was going to say earlier, where
Mhm.
like Jose Arcadio was out there doing his river journey thing. He needs money. He needs animals. Now Aureliano, just by doing what he loves to do, having sex with Petra, he can provide that to Jose Arcadio. He has all these animals now, and now they have plenty of money that he can fund his project.
Yeah, they've inspired. They've had these animals created. The money starts rolling in. They are able to repair Petra's roof,
Yep, yep.
and now he's able to sponsor his brother's project. He asked his brother to sponsor, Jose Arcadio Buendia asked his brother to sponsor the clearing out of the riverbed. All is granted. They dynamite the river, and the people of Macondo cheer, believing progress is imminent, and Jose Arcadio disappears for a long time.
Yeah, they don't mention how long he's gone. Just like they don't mention any lengths of time in here.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, we're not really sure what year this is. This whole show takes place between 1820 and 1920. We do know this. And I was able to get some help from another podcast called Used to Sew. And it's a sewing podcast, obviously. And they always ask their listeners to send in photographs of sewing machines. If you ever spot one on a period show,
Mm-hmm.
to send them a picture. So I sent them pictures of the sewing machine Amaranta was using, and just by analyzing the machine, analyzing the decal, and the fact that it had that metal foot thing as opposed to a wooden foot thing. They stopped using wood in the late 1890s and they started manufacturing them with metal foot pedals around 1895. So she says that this episode must take place based on the sewing machine 1895 or after.
We see a year later in the episode. I don't know if you
Oh,
caught
you
that,
cheated.
but
What did the year say?
well, it's not until later, but the carnival, it says 1911.
Okay, maybe she's wrong then, but at least she's kind
But
of
you're
right.
saying, I mean, you said since it changed in 1895, that just means after 1895. So
That's
it's not really off.
you win, Aradia. There you go.
All right. Oh, Aradia. Yeah, you were on a show with her. I recognize that name.
Yeah.
So then the colonel's 17 sons arrive to accompany their father for his honoring ceremony. We have Aureliano Centeno, which means rye, R-Y-E, Aureliano Amador, lover, Aureliano Archaea, place of stone, Aureliana Triste, which means sad,
Sad. I got that one.
and Aureliano Cerador means like a lumberjack or one who saws wood.
Ooh, okay.
And there are 12 other names we don't hear, but we do get to hear the first 5 introduce themselves. They all report for duty. He neither discourages nor welcomes their company. And when he goes to the ceremony, they're all behind him. The president, though, doesn't even show up. He sends his dignitaries in his place. They go through an Ash Wednesday service, a service that marks the beginning of Lent. So there's a time period there for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is really only significant because Aureliano is not a particularly religious man and he's sworn off the authority of the church. So this is a sort of a slap in the face that they're saying before you do this, you have to also have this religious ceremony first.
Didn't even consider that. That didn't. Yeah. Okay. So you're right. That kind of is. No wonder he's a little weird about this whole thing. And they even
Right.
give the guys all that mark on their forehead. And you're probably going to say it's permanent, right?
Well, usually it's not permanent. When you go to Ash
No.
Wednesday, it washes off immediately. So I'm like, this must be special, just like things are special in Macondo. So I guess ashes here, they don't come off. I don't
No,
know what that.
this is a deliberate thing that the president and the conservatives did. They wanted to mark all of Aureliano's kids with a permanent thing on their forehead so they can always be identified.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
I didn't even catch that. I was thinking, oh, this is a symbolic for how they. I was thinking, this is a symbol, right? For their sins will never be forgiven. They never washed clean. And you're like, no, they just wanted to make sure they could find these guys
Oh,
later
well, it could
on.
be that too. You're not wrong either. Because they are Aurelianos, and we know that he's a son of a
No,
bitch.
but that makes sense. They didn't. They didn't. It wasn't a real Ash Wednesday service. It was a deliberate sabotage plot. So
That's
I
right.
think you're absolutely right. A photographer also takes what's essentially a family photo for Aureliano.
Mm-hmm.
And with Aureliano Jose gone, he's now childless. These 17 progeny are his new quiver, for better or worse.
And once again, I think the photograph is taken at the behest of the president as well. Like, these guys are all his sons. Let's get some ransoms going, guys. Let's get some assassinations happening.
But it also says during the narration that these sons didn't plan this, or it wasn't like it was a plan they all had that they shared with each other. They all just happened to show up. So I wonder if the dignitaries
You're right.
were planning on this, knew they would show up, or we just happened to have enough black dye to mark all of you.
Readers of the book, let us know, please. It seems like this was a deliberate thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're exactly right. The narrator did say that they just showed up. Maybe they were pushed. There was a whisper when they whispered in their ears when they were sleeping.
Yeah.
Well, if they did that, they could have done anything.
Yeah. I thought it was cool though when they were all walking to the service and Heraldo says, "Who are they?" or "Who are these, who are these guys?" And Aurelian just kind of looks at him, but I really wanted him to say, "My sons."
Exactly. I thought it was real significant that he did not say that.
Yeah. Aureliano makes a speech that he anxiously awaited the arrival of the president so that he could put a bullet in his head.
Mm-hmm.
But he also threatens that if he doesn't, he being the president, doesn't follow through with his promises to provide pensions to the soldiers, that he just might regather an army. And he doesn't say this, but with his new passel of puppies, he has enough to make it happen for sure. The
Absolutely.
Aurelianos, after that's over, the Aurelianos, which is their new band name, these 17 uh, guys, all go their separate ways like seeds scatter and take root all over the earth. And only Aureliano Triste stays behind and realizes that the stain of ash is permanent on his forehead.
Yeah, this Jason Mantzoukas looking guy, he's going to stick around and be part of the family now. I think he is at the house later on too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it's kind of neat how the other 16 all went off and they're all going to, start their own families. As you know, in my mind, they're going to start like other South American countries and like rule their own little thing because they all have that same blood in them that Jose Arcadio had.
Mm-hmm. I hope we're going to see them again
Me
in the
too.
show.
We got 6 episodes. We got to.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, okay. This whole put a bullet in his head thing. I love this speech. I love he throws the metal, this scrap of metal at the guy's feet. And this is another watching the English version, the guy who does the overdubs just went way overboard with his line delivery. And I think our boy Claudio, who did it in Spanish, who's like the original actor, did a much more succinct and a better performance. So if you're watching this in English, just please know that he is not that over the top and he's not that silly. He actually is like a kind of a subdued actor. So check it out in Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's pretty dignified even when he is feeling the rage.
I mean, the line delivery in English was just, like I said, it was almost comedic how over the top it was.
Okay, so in a different place, nuns do laundry at a convent. Pretty
Oh, yeah.
extreme.
Where are we? What the hell?
Yeah. All of a sudden, we see these nuns doing laundry at a convent, and we meet Fernanda, a new character. It is apparent she has been summoned home from her stay there. We just found her at the nunnery, but immediately she's picked up by this mysterious looking gentleman. She's escorted to a new location with a sign that reads "Funeral Wreaths for Sale." The courtyard looks similar to the Buendia household. This is probably how all their houses are set up, but there's walls and there's an inner courtyard and a fountain. So the courtyard looks similar to the Buendia household, but it's cold and no life.
Bleak.
Yeah.
Yucky. Yeah.
Upstairs is her mother, who appears close to death. Her mother tells her that her family is rich and powerful and that she will be queen one day.
Are they rich and powerful? I mean, they look so, destitute. This place is such the opposite of Macondo and just bleak. And it's like, if you're rich, why are you living like this?
Yeah. At first, I thought when this first happened, when they switched to this, I thought we were looking at the Buendia house, but in the future
Me too.
or something that they were doing a time cut.
Exactly.
And I was just like, who is this person? But are they rich and powerful? I think the answer to that is no, but maybe they are from a wealthy family. Their family was rich and then something happened that made them lose their money,
Oh,
but there's sort
gotcha.
of, it's kind of like that, that legend of like one day you will come back and you will earn your treasure, so
Sure.
there's sort of this fairy tale almost that this girl has, we only see it once, but it becomes apparent that she's been brought up to believe that one day she is going to be queen.
Right. Come from this place and you will rise. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it is
It's
apparent
like Game
this.
of Thrones all over again, Steve.
That's right. This was like the Stark's courtyard. You're not wrong about that.
I was like I feel like every show we recap, no matter what, you always at some point say it's exactly like Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. It's one or the other of those two.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is like I would say this is like the Boltons. Perhaps they've been kind of overlooked, and their castle is not quite as nice as everyone else, vying for their time back on the throne.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about this Fernanda the first time we see her?
No, I didn't get much of an impression from her, like at all, really, until the end of the episode. She
Right.
just seems kind of nondescript, and we're just following her story along. So at this point, no, just the funeral wreaths that apparently that she ends up helping to make.
Very pretty girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's been kept at this nunnery. It's usually never for a good reason.
yeah,
We
that's
can only
right.
speculate about that.
Oh, geez, yeah. Send her off to school where she has to go to some like Handmaid's Tale kind of place where that's how she's
Well,
raised.
that's dramatic. I wasn't thinking that necessarily, but it's somewhere safe. At first this is not the case. But the first time I watched this episode, I thought that her father was the president and she was being protected.
That makes sense.
And then it turned out, no, I missed some of the lines, but this is not the president. That her father is not the president, but he's like an operative of some kind. All right, so at the riverbank, Aureliano Triste is there to witness the arrival of a strange ship. It's Jose Arcadio Segundo arriving with a ferry full of mostly women.
Hmm.
Once they all unboarded, I could see there were men, but when they were arriving, they really were just focused on those women dressed in those elaborate costumes.
That's right. Macondo is about to become way more diverse.
Yeah. Aureliano Segundo and Petra receive the arrival with joy, and the whole town comes out to see the spectacle. It's like the old days again. We see
Hmm. Pilar?
Pilar and I think that's Caterino that she's
Yes.
escorting.
Hmm.
The twins are happy to see each other. What will this new arrival mean? After the celebration ends, the camera pulls out to reveal the boat sinking into the ocean. This is the first and last boat to ever dock in Macondo.
This boat was a piece of crap. This whole scene was hilarious, and it was my favorite scene. Absolutely. Like from the very beginning, when we get like Triste is like climbing up those awesome rocks. And there's like the boat doesn't even float right. So they have to have all these ropes. And there's 10 guys on each side of the shore that are like pulling the boat around. So it's not even really floating of its own accord. It's being pulled around by a bunch of his buddies. It's hilarious. It's like it reminded me of like that Shakespeare thing, like a mighty roar signifying nothing. It's like this is like such a big buildup for this huge event. And this whole episode, we've been waiting for like, oh, it's going to be like international travel. Now they're going to have trade. Now they're going to have more people coming in. Nope, the boat sinks, and that's the last we ever hear of the river. So it's just a big nothing.
I wasn't even understanding how it was floating enough for them to be on it though.
I don't know. How far do those guys have to walk holding that rope?
I don't know, but the other thing I found annoying is that everybody leaves and then all of the black characters are there picking up the luggage.
Oh, great. Well, maybe it's because it's their luggage. Like they just moved here. So it's like
No,
that is one.
these are the workers that like just had to haul this boat basically and make this happen. And
Oh,
now they're the ones that are like, here, you guys carry the luggage.
yeah. It's kind of like when the people go to like the Bonnaroo and just leave their tent and all their crap there.
Yeah.
Like the one thing he did do though, he did bring like a whole bunch of new people and a whole bunch of different culture to Macondo. So now we have about 30 or 40 like new adults there.
I don't know if we ever find out
Well, we do.
where he went, and what happened while he was away.
Oh, we don't we find out what happened to everybody that was on the boat, but at the end of this episode, but yeah, we don't get to fill in the blanks of how he found them.
Okay, so at Caterino's, we learned the new arrivals, or at least some of them, are French. They have brought a gramophone that plays records. This causes a buzz, and people want a peek at it. The music reaches the streets, and people stop to listen. The narration implies that as they're listening, these people realize it's fake and can never emulate the passion of a real band or real musical performance, but their faces tell a different story. And during this scene, I don't know about you, Steve, but I was thinking about the Shawshank Redemption and that scene where they play the record. Andy Dufresne plays the record, and the prisoners are all listening to it and kind of having this look that they're escaping somehow through the opera, and that they sort of they experience a moment of vicarious freedom through the sound of this song. And the people are all listening to this music. It's panning over the town, and you can see everybody kind of looking up dreamily, and we have no idea what they're thinking about.
Yeah, you're right. It's another one of those scenes that almost like signifies nothing because they put it into it almost immediately. Because they seem to be enjoying it, but then the narrator says maybe this is like an unreliable narrator. I've never even considered that, but he definitely could be. He was saying that people liked live music better. So once again, I kind of overlooked their look of elation on their faces, and I focused more on that fact. The first time I saw this scene and all the subsequent times after that, my mind automatically went to, oh yeah, they're more into real life stuff. No AI, like everybody play live music, bring live music back. I was like, yeah, I agree with all this. I think this is great. But you're right. People liked the gramophone just as much because it brought the music when you can't have a real band there.
Or maybe it's making them think of faraway places, because it shows even that women were dressed up as men so that they could go to Katerina's and see this record. I guess women the only women at Katerina's are the sex workers, that except those French women are all there. But I mean, I guess
that was a really weird implication. You're right, because Ursula runs the town. Pilar is always hanging out.
But we do know that Pilar was, I don't know if we ever know she was a sex worker, but we do know that she was not opposed to having sex with many different people.
True.
So I wouldn't say, Ursula didn't find her appropriate enough to invite to her party. So she's probably in the class of women that's not considered appropriate. And because these women that are going, you see them in the street and they're dressed up as men, and the narration implies that they by themselves can't hear the music and keep their reputation.
It just doesn't add up to me, because I just it doesn't seem to me like there's a lot of inequality happening in Macondo. It seems like people respect the women just as much as the guys. I mean, of course there's roles that men and women have. This is the first time I've seen stark inequality where women can't come listen to the gramophone at Cantino's. You got to dress up like a man to do it.
They can hear it in the street. They can hear it in the street, but they can't go and listen to it. Yeah.
It just didn't add up to me. This is just a big question mark over my head. It's still there.
Yeah. There it is. I see it.
Yep.
So somehow this also brings electricity.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, they had this gramophone, and then all of a sudden they go to Jose. I guess maybe that was Jose. I couldn't tell if that was Jose Arcadio Segundo or...
It was Jose Arcadio. No mustache, remember?
Okay.
But yeah, they just kind of implied that he just picked up on electricity during his travels somehow. So I guess maybe he was over in Europe at some point, or because we established that it's like 1895, almost 1900. So maybe this is something that he didn't invent, but he found
Mhm.
out about. So he brought some stuff with him on the boat, perhaps. But
Yeah.
they didn't really go into it. They just kind of like, and now there's electricity.
Yes.
Everyone loves lamps.
Everybody loves light bulbs. And I think there's something to somehow these events that are happening, they're connecting with world history and what's going on in the outside world. Like the events that are happening in Macondo are somehow a reflection of world history. Because
Of
remember,
course.
there's a lot in this story about colonialism,
Hmm.
which us two Americans are not, we're not fully maybe grasping all the nuances of what they're
Yeah.
getting at here. But you could say, yes, there's the guise of progress happening, but there's also, through the supposed progress, there's also there's a loss of something too. And also there's like danger that can come in because of the progress, because the more people, so what looks like progress can actually, for instance, AI or whatever, that's a contemporary example. People are all excited about progress, about the gramophone, about the light bulbs, but they are also opening themselves up to outside influences coming in and maybe poisoning Macondo. And
Right. That makes a lot of sense based on they were talking about the lamps and how people just stared at the lamps. And it's
Mhm.
like just like us staring at our phones or staring
Yeah,
at the television screen. It's the exact same thing. So,
right.
yeah. Yep.
Okay, so meanwhile, Fernanda is toiling away making funeral wreaths at her place.
There we go.
A knock
Yes.
at the door interrupts her work. It's a few men asking Fernanda's father to take part in an act that will make him indispensable to the Conservative Party and therefore the president. Fernanda is asked to pack her things for a trip, and she believes this is part of her coronation.
Right. It is. She's the Queen of Madagascar, just like the title of the episode.
That is what she is told, but it's unclear sort of how much she knows, I think, about what they really
Yeah.
have planned.
And when you first watch this scene, it just seems like very transactional. Okay, you're going to Macondo. Okay, you're doing this thing.
Hmm.
But after you see the aftermath of what happens, it's pretty clear, why she was sent and who sent her.
Right. So back at the Buendia house, Remedios the Beauty is getting ready for carnavale. She has shaved all her hair off.
Right. Smart.
And you said smart?
Yes, she's always hot. And then she had that big mop of curly hair on top of her head. She should have done that a long time ago.
Well, it says that people have been bothering her or pestering her about her hair, and she decides to shave it off. But I don't know if that's what they had in mind.
I just got the sense that she's always hot. So that's why she shaved her head. Seriously, yeah, that's why that's why I'm not going to grow my hair back out, because I had long curly moppy hair and it was hot. But anyway, I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
digress. That's what we're supposed to do, though.
yeah, we're supposed to digress. Aureliano comes to help her get the last bits of hair off of her scalp.
Just be intimate, being
And they
nice.
talk a little about the woman she's named after. And Aureliano just kind of smiles fondly at her. He doesn't say much, but Remedios is kind of saying, "Do I remind you of Remedios, your wife?" And he's like, "Maybe," and he just tells her that it's a pretty name.
She's the only person that he's nice to, basically.
He's nice to his mama. It's
Kind of. He's always cutting eyes at her and arguing with her, and he's shoving his nephews around blatantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's not mean to Amaranta, but in this episode, they're showing us how nice he is to Remedios.
Yeah. Now we get to Carnivale. And
Mm.
this, I was doing a little research yesterday because I know some stuff already about Carnival, but I didn't know kind of some of the backstory. Now, there's different places in the world this is celebrated, and you know it means different things at different locations. But with the connection of this with the arrival of all these new people, I think there's something there. And again, if you are a listener and you have some insight, we welcome you to write in at Sweet Child of Time. Help me out,
Yeah,
Steve.
you got it. sweetshotoftimepod@gmail.com.
Yes, and we'll read your feedback on air. So
Yes.
we might abridge it a little if it's more than 250 words. But there's so the carnival, what that was it was a celebration like slave owners used to hold, and they would not invite people who were people of color. So then at a certain point, the people like Caribbean indigenous people, they were like, we're gonna reappropriate carnival and celebrate
Sure.
our way, and we're gonna be attending. So that's why it's such a big part of like cultural celebration. It's very important
Okay.
for South America, for the Caribbean countries. So I think there's something there about the different cultures that are represented and how it brings a level of death. And there's also the progress, which means maybe money, and like it's all tied together. But the I was really interested in the fact that Fernanda arrives and she is named the Queen of Madagascar. Madagascar is in Africa.
Right.
So, which ties in the Africa, and but also I think Madagascar is like there's she is Fernanda is like European. So I don't know if Madagascar is a European colonized part of Africa. Yeah, I think there's something there about this because they have the Queen of Macondo and the Queen of Madagascar.
Exactly.
So they're almost like bringing in cultural invasion.
And it's almost as if the Queen of Madagascar was not necessarily invited and was welcomed in, and then the Queen of Macondo had no issue with that whatsoever. So I think maybe that whole
Right.
symbolism right there.
And that other queen brings violence and
Yes,
invasion. Just like
that's
when
right.
people were like, "Oh yeah, we're befriending the indigenous people of this land," and then they basically try to eliminate them so they can have the place
Yes.
for themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, they're taking over this place that is like completely welcoming them in their party, in their inner circle. Like, cheer for this person. We love them. And
Yeah.
then they're going to turn around and kill them.
Yeah, Remedios is just like, "Yay, a new friend."
Yeah.
She's not jealous or, feeling she has to maintain her crown.
I,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
watched it. I watched her face for that. Those emotions didn't happen. The only person that was pissed was Petra.
That's right. That's right. So, at this, but just to go back a little, there's dancing, music, and fireworks. Remedios is the carnival queen. All is well. Then Fernanda arrives on a throne of her own. She's named the Queen of Madagascar. Aureliano Segundo is dressed like a tiger, and he is overwhelmed with Fernanda's beauty. He can't take his eyes off of her, and everyone seems a little awestruck. Next to Remedios, though, Fernanda looks to me a little stiff and cold. Remedios
Yes.
is smiling, giddy, warm.
Yep.
Fernanda is just like a typical cold queen, just observing everybody.
I caught that too. And I was like, what is this guy Aureliano seeing in this? Because, like, he's got Petra, obviously.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any reason for him to fall head over heels, but he did. And there was really no reason for him to like spearhead the acceptance of them because they arrived kind of cold. when the Madagascar crew showed up, like the party kind of stopped for a few seconds until Aureliano kind of gave everybody permission to, accept them.
Yeah. So she introduces herself as Fernanda del Carpio. We can see Petricote glowering at this new development. She does not like that he is smitten with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
Colonel Aureliano shows up after all. He had told Remedios he wasn't going to come, and he shows up anyway. It's announced that there are two queens, Queen of Madagascar, Queen of Macondo. Petra grabs the first available man and takes off. As the fireworks continue, we see sharpshooters above aiming rifles. And as the music continues, the crowd is oblivious. Only the colonel understands the danger, and he crawls through the crowds as person after person gets shot. And finally, the crowd realizes what's going on. Now, this is my favorite scene. I thought this scene was outstanding with the lights and the music. He kind of, once the first shot comes in, he drops down, and you see him, whatever they call that, ground crawling that they do. What's
That's
the,
what you call it.
is that what it's called? I don't
Ground
know.
crawling. I love it.
I know that's not right. It's crab crawling through the,
Okay, all right.
you're as close to the ground as you can get. And he's sort of going through people, trying to see if he can figure out where these shots are coming from and also avoid being shot himself. And so, yeah, I thought this was a very cinematic scene. The crowds are kind of
Big time.
dancing in slow motion, and at the same time, everybody thinks it's a party and that it's fun, but people are actually getting shot and killed.
This was my runner-up favorite scene because it has lots of different levels to it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fun that they're having first, and then like as they're getting shot, like the strange glee that people are having on their face as people are getting shot next to them, but they're unaware of it. I thought that was pretty wild. I thought it was pretty wild how like it's super apparent as to who's doing the shooting because it's the exact same guys in the exact same masks that had like the thing that they brought Fernanda in. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like Fernanda's crew up there doing the shooting, which without question. And I thought it was funny too. It wasn't until like a really strong-willed, a loud yelling woman alerted the crowd to what was happening, and then everybody, like, she screams, and then the rest of the crowd like gets clued in and they scream too. Up until that point, even when that one shot of that guy like doing the crowd surfing, and then he gets shot, and then the crowd puts him down, and then you think, oh yeah, okay, now they're gonna realize. But no, they start boogieing around the guy after they put him down, which I thought was really neat. I mean, it wasn't fun, but it was a super neat way to shoot that scene.
And, Aureliano calls those men, he calls them the Bedouins, which I found interesting because that's that's from Lawrence of Arabia. That's one of the people groups mentioned. They're like nomadic people from North Africa and the Middle East. So I guess that goes with the
Yeah,
Madagascar. Yeah.
Madagascar. Sure.
So then Aureliano Segundo, Remedios, Fernanda, and Aureliano Triste hide under a table and then flee to the Buendia house. It's unclear whether she's innocent to this scheme or suspects what her father has done. Her hands
Oh.
are covered with cuts from making the wreath. Colonel Aureliano busts in, and he knows what's up. This new arrival has brought danger to Macondo. He knows people want him dead, and this girl has arrived with the men who were shooting.
Now, I just automatically assumed that she was innocent of everything. And I still think that. But the way she was having that panic attack, I mean, I just attributed that to her like just freaking out because of what just happened. The realization that, like, oh my God, like my own people are like shooting people.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting that you say that she could be part of it because she could be a
I don't
super.
think she knew. Well, we said the narrator could be unreliable, but the narrator told us that she thought this was part of her coronation. But
Okay.
when
Okay.
they start the shooting, it's not like she's exempt from that. She's there too, having these bullets are flying everywhere.
Yeah, she could have gotten shot as
She
well, and
could have
she's
gotten hurt. Yeah.
yeah, the queen of Macondo is a pretty good target for your shooting if you're going to shoot people, and she's right there next to her.
Yeah. I
It-
think that once it happened, I think she kind of might suspect that, oh, uh, that wasn't about me being queen at all.
sure. And then the difference between these two queens: one queen is having a super panic attack and has to be carried. The other queen comes in the house and says, "We almost got killed, but now we're fine." That's exactly what she said.
Is that what she said?
Yes.
Fernanda flees outside once Aureliano comes in. The Bedouins have disappeared. And, then this is the scene which you made a more direct connection than I did. But you're saying the people that arrived on the ferry were part of the people that got killed.
I think so. It looks
Yeah.
like everybody that was there at that party was killed, and they were all there. We saw them. So I do believe that all these new arrivals came for this.
Well, they kind of
Aren't-
go through it. They say like two French people, this many this
Right.
and this many that.
Japanese women, etc. That's exactly where I got that from. Yes.
Yeah. But I thought some of those were costumes and not
Yes.
actual
That's true.
ethnicities that represent the people. So
You're
some
right about that.
people might have fled and some people might have, but I get, how are they going to go? How are they going to get home? Those of them that didn't get killed, they can't take the ferry.
I mean, they're Macondoans now. That's all there is to it.
Okay. Ursula. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, what's his name? Aureliano is sitting with Fernanda as she's having this panic attack.
Right.
He's calming her down, and we watch like the night become day. So I guess we can only assume that he sat with her all evening, right?
I don't know. It was a quick cut. It was a quick time lapse.
It was,
So
but
I
there was
wasn't
definitely
sure, but if that was just like maybe Carnival had gone all night and as they were sitting there, the sun set. I didn't get the sense that they were sitting there a long time.
I just figured since the sunlight came in from the darkness, they had been a few hours, I guess.
Yeah.
But at least they woke up.
It doesn't matter. They were in the parlor and she had, as soon as Aureliano came in, which I don't think he waited long before he burst in there,
Yeah.
Fernanda flees and Ursula comes in to the parlor and she encourages him to find this Fernanda. She senses that this is the girl for her great grandson. Aureliano says absolutely nothing about Petra. So I guess she's
She's
yesterday's
just
news.
out of it. I don't understand that. And I'm thinking it's like a Pilar situation, like where Pilar was just kind of thrown away. And I wonder if Petra, we might see Petra again with this P in front of her name. Perhaps she has another Buendia in her belly at this point. It's a very good chance she could.
You're saying Pilar?
No, Petra.
Oh,
Because
okay.
she's
Yeah.
been sleeping with
I was like,
Aureliano a
Pilar's getting a
lot.
little old, Steve. Yeah, it kind of bothered me. It did bother me just because I was like, I thought your girl was Petra Cote. It's okay for you to get, awestruck, but all of a sudden it was like, oh, this is the girl for me. I have to put
Terrible.
aside everything to find her. And yeah, he doesn't it doesn't seem to cast a thought for Petra Cote at all. He's just all about Fernanda now.
If we didn't like him before, we definitely don't like him now. I mean, he's
Yeah,
despicable this entire episode.
right.
And I wonder if maybe Jose Arcadio might be like, "Oh, Petra, hey, what's up?"
Well, also, let's remember something is that Aureliano Segundo has been outside of the house. He hasn't been bringing Petra home to meet
True.
Ursula or introduce her to his family. So he's not doing the gentlemanly thing, or making her part of his life.
You're right about that.
She's an escape that he like
Yes,
hangs out, which is not a good. I mean, we know these things happen, but it's not a good look. You've made a lot of money off of Petricote's farm animals.
that's right. That's right.
Put some respect on her name. Okay, Aureliano goes looking for her. He uses her Moors accent and her wreath making job to track her down. And the episode ends with the two gazing at each other and a clap of thunder.
Yeah, seems kind of telling to me, the clap of thunder right there.
What is it telling you?
Danger. There's danger to be had here, friend. This is your enemy here. Her family tried to kill your family. So, yeah, this is some Romeo and Juliet stuff to get ready to throw on us here.
But Ursula encouraged it. So
I know. I
that's what's throwing me
know.
off. Like, I would think Ursula's usually the voice of reason. So when she was kind of like, "You got to go after her, son," I thought, okay, well maybe this is a good thing, because Ursula is usually not taken in by fools. So it was a little interesting that Ursula was the one,
You-
kind of egging him on.
Yeah, we also know that Ursula is not always doesn't always have the best of intentions always. So I wonder if she was encouraging him to go get her because she's a queen, because she has royalty. It could have something to do with that. This is just a
Yeah.
thought that I had, but knowing Ursula, it
She
could be.
does like to hang out with wealthy people.
Yeah. And so who do you want? Do you want Petra, who you don't bring home and just have sex with, or a queen that can assassinate us? It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I love this whole thing about how he found her just based on her accent and the funeral wreaths and just his tenacity. Like he could just sniff her out, using his Jose Arcadio superpowers that he apparently has inherited from his great grandfather. I just think that's kind of neat. It's a neat little way to slip in like a superpower into like a more or less normal show, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, personally, I think we're being led to initially like Fernanda because,
Mm-hmm.
in a way, she's a pawn, and she's not having a great life. She's in this sad house by herself, making
Right.
funeral wreaths, and apparently getting poked by thorns when she's doing it. They haven't
Right.
given her the appropriate tools to protect her hands.
Where's OSHA? Come on.
She's
Who needs
slaving
gloves?
away here. But even without that, I mean, her mom's sick upstairs, and this is her whole life. It's just sitting in here making funeral wreaths, and it doesn't look like she gets much warmth or affection.
Oh yeah, I mean, based on her environment, it's a very cold, sterile environment that she lives in there. Now she wakes up and she's in this bright, vibrant town of Macondo. Or I mean, she was there briefly, but I bet she got a pretty strong impression of Macondo. It's like, what is this place? Everybody's all dancing and happy and partying. Until my my henchman shot them, but this place seems cool. My place does not.
Yeah, she was in a nunnery before, and now she's in this blue, bleak, cold
Mm-hmm.
place.
So yeah, now this guy is here to save her. So thunderclap. We'll see what happens next week.
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens next.
Good. That's great to hear. Last time we parted ways, you were like, I hope this gives me something to look forward to because I'm not seeing it yet. So
Now we have the possibility of new love, but we know that these love affairs don't go well for the Buendias.
I mean,
Things don't go well.
this seems doomed. I mean, just based on her family. So their families are not going to be getting along that great. So what's going to happen when her dad meets Aureliano? Are they going to shake hands and break bread together?
Ooh, conservative. Don't know
We
about
know he
that.
loves them. And where's Remedios going to stand in all this too? Like we've been talking up her innocence, but yeah, it's clear that there's a little bit more to her sting than we give her credit for.
A little
So
scorpion sting.
maybe a queen versus queen situation might be happening here. But yeah, I guess that's our end for our recap, eh, Lindsay?
That's it, eh?
Hey. Well, yeah, until next week. I'm liking the way we're doing this because I haven't watched ahead to episode 3 yet. Have you?
I have not.
All righty. Yeah, I'd like to try to keep this trend going if we can. So it keeps us fresh every week.
Yeah, it's a nice little treat. When the episode ends, we can all watch the next episode.
If you skip ahead, I won't kill you. I won't get mad at you or anything like that. But yeah, this is fun doing it this way. I like it. So yeah, I guess for plugs, I allowed you to have a plug at the beginning of the episode. Do you want to remind us once again the name of your church and the location you're going to be at on Friday evening?
It's Blacknall Memorial Presbyterian Church on Perry Street in Durham near the Whole Foods. It's Friday, August 28th, 7 p.m. for a songwriting showcase and fundraiser.
Yes. And don't forget on Spotify to look up
That's right.
Black Nell as well and check out the music there, which Lindsay had a hand in writing some of it, right?
Yes, I have "O Taste and See" is a song I helped write, and "Awakened" I wrote and sing on the album. So yeah, those are the two that I'm on.
Good deal. And I am also on another podcast that I also host. It's called Running Down the Hill, Little House on the Prairie original series recaps, where I talk about Little House on the Prairie with guests. And I think if you're listening to this when it comes out, the next episode that you will hear on Running Down the Hill will feature a buddy of me and Lindsay's. His name is Chad, but he goes by the nickname Green. And he was on to talk about the 100-mile walk. You've probably already heard the episode last week where I had my children on, I had Caleb on, and I had Charlotte on separately. We each talk about Little House on the Prairie episodes over there. So yeah, check out me and Lindsay's other stuff if you will, please. And that's going to do it for our episode. Do you have any final words for us, Lindsay?
Keep watching our shows and write us some feedback. Let us know what you think of the show.
Agreed. We've got an empty mailbox here. It's been really sad these past couple of weeks. We'd love to have some mail here. So shoot us a letter, sweetchildoftimepod@gmail.com, or one of my stories. You have a Gmail over there as well too, right?
Right, but
On
my
your website?
Gmail is not pod related, so you can message me on Instagram though, or Twitter at one of my stories.
Basically anywhere one of my stories is found, you can get in touch with her. Anywhere Sweet Child of Time is found, you can find me. And until next week, we're going to be checking out episode 3 of 100 Years of Solitude. So until then, I hope you guys all find water, shade, shoes, and a river to nowhere.
And a boat that floats.
Yeah, a boat that floats for once, will ya? Bye, everybody.
Bye.